Hello, this is Lynn from A Bypass to a Leaner Lynn, coming at you with a 30 question tag. Ange RNY, Angie from Ange RNY, not said I could do this. she nominated me. So you can find out all sorts of boring things about me. The first question is, where did you grow up? And I grew up everywhere. My father had a bad case of the grass is greener on the other side of the hill syndrome, and so we moved a lot. I think the most time that I've spent was in Ann Arbor, not Ann Arbor. I was born in Ann Arbor, Michigan. The place that I've spent the most time in was probably Ironwood, Michigan, and Phillips, Wisconsin. So I grew up basically up north, but I've got a southern accent because I've been down here for like forever. But at any rate, I live in a very small town called Magee, Magee, Mississippi. Magee, Magee, Magee. My daughter was in the band. I learned lots of cheers while she was in the band. Who was my first best friend? I don't even remember her name. All I really remember is that she lived next door to me in Oregon, Coos Bay. And I saw, and my memory of her is, we got into a lot of trouble together. I was 4-ish, 5-ish, around there. And my mom cutting my dad's hair, and my mom had worked really hard. I mean, almost white hair when I was little. Just blonde. And I mean, it's not very dark now, but and this is my natural hair, so this is what I got. But she had let it grow. It was halfway down my back. It was curly. Apparently, from what my mom said, it was beautiful, beautiful hair. And I saw her cutting my dad's hair, and so me and my friend decided to play barbershop. And I came home with different lengths. Don't think it made my mom real happy at all. She had worked so hard on my hair. How tall am I? I am 5'1 3/4", but I just usually round up to 5'2", because who wouldn't rather be 5'2" than 5'1 3/4"? I mean, that's a lot. Do I prefer dogs or cats? I prefer dogs. I'm a dog girl. In fact, I have a poodle over here, and if you hear snoring, that's her. Who knew a poodle could snore? But she's a cutie pie. She's getting pretty old, though. But I'm a dog person. I think I'm not a cat person, not so much because I don't like cats, but I'm allergic to them, so I can't have them around. So I've just never been around cats because my mom was very allergic to cats, and I'm very allergic to cats. So I've just never been around cats a lot. Funniest moment throughout high school? I really can't remember. Um, I did a lot of theater when I was in high school, and I played the mother in Bye Bye Birdie, and that was pretty funny. Um, so I guess that could be. What year was I born? Do I have to divulge this? I mean, it was a long time ago. 1951. to be exact. December 26th. It was almost 1952, but 1951 nonetheless. So I'm older, a senior citizen. Are you or have you gone to college? Yes, I have. I have a bachelor's degree in music education. Could not find a job as a vocal music educator in the state of Mississippi. It just wasn't a real popular to have that kind of. If I'd have been banned, I could have probably found a job in a heartbeat. But if you're not banned, it's really, really hard to find. Was really, really hard back in the day. Now it's much more common, but back in the 70s, not so much. So I ended up going back to school when I was 3. She was born in 70. So I went back in 81, back to school. No, 82. It was January 82. I went back to school and got my master's degree in speech pathology. So I am a speech pathologist, retired. Don't call me. I'm retired. What is my favorite drink? Water with flavors. I don't really have a favorite drink. Oh, wait a minute. I take that back. Coffee. I am absolutely coffee addicted. So, I mean, I do make a concession in the evening. I drink decaf, but I still drink coffee in the evening. Drink coffee all day long, along with my water. What is my spirit animal? I've never thought about that. I have no clue. Dog? I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Tea or coffee? Definitely coffee. I really don't even care for tea. I've tried to make myself care for tea because of its antioxidant properties and stuff, but I just can't make myself like tea. What are my life goals? To keep the weight off, to be healthy, to enjoy my retirement, to be as lazy as I possibly can get away with, to grow as a person, to read a lot. Lots of goals, I guess. What sports do you play or have played? I'm not really a sports kind of girl. I have asthma, and I grew up with asthma. And so I never really got into sports because if I ran for 10 minutes, I wheezed. So, when you're in danger of stopping breathing, you tend to stop the activity, I had a standing excuse in gym class to not exercise. Now I played really good basketball for as long as I could stay out there and play. I was a vicious guard, vicious. And I was pretty good at gymnastics, and those I could do because it didn't require a lot of running kind of stuff. So I was pretty good at gymnastics, but I really didn't care for it. I mean, I just wasn't really sports minded, if that makes any sense. Have any books you read changed your life? Yes, I will say the Bible has changed my life. Nothing but good in there. Favorite books besides the Bible? I remember more of the books I read as a young person. I loved Heidi. I read that over and over. There was an author named Madeleine L'Engle, and she wrote A Wrinkle in Time. I don't know how many times I read that. And I keep saying I need to go back and read them just to see what it was I was so fascinated by, but I haven't read them since I was, in elementary school, but I read those over and over. Um, what is my favorite movie? I don't know. I love Star Trek movies. Um, I'm not really a big movie goer. I think my attention span is too long to last through a movie. I love Christmas movies, and I watch those. Um, favorite YouTubers? I have a bunch. I just I have a bunch. I mean, I try to watch everybody. I follow a lot of keto channels because not so much because I'm doing keto. I don't. I do low carb, but I don't do keto. Um, but I do. They do have a lot of recipes that are really good for low carb, and so I follow them for that, and because they're trying to lose weight, and I follow a lot of weight loss surgery channels. I follow a lot of recipe channels. So I really have a lot of favorite channels. I just kind of have them all notify me and try to keep track of all of them. I love all of you, so there you have it. Am I saying? Oh, do you speak any languages and how well? I speak English and sometimes not very good. I know because I'm a speech pathologist, so I know how bad my English is. Um, I think, I love my father, but I think that's one of the things that I really resent with him. My father was first generation American. His parents immigrated from Finland, and his first language was Finnish. He didn't learn how to speak English till he went to school and had to learn to speak English. Um, and when I was little, we and my dad was in the Marine Corps and was overseas fighting in Korea. Uh, we stayed with his parents, and I was just learning to talk then, and I was learning Finnish from my grandparents and English from my mother. And so I was learning both languages, and I think that had my dad spoke a little bit of Finnish to me every day, that I would have grown up bilingual. But his dad was a miner and he grew up, blah, 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 all that kind of good stuff. And he was embarrassed by the whole thing, as a young person. And so he never kept it up with me. And I really kind of resent that now because I did ask him at one time. I said, Dad, when you're talking to Grandma and Grandpa, are you thinking in Finnish or are you thinking in English? And he said he was thinking in Finnish. And I said, when you talk to us, are you thinking in Finnish or are you thinking in English? And he said English. And I said, and I just kind of came to the conclusion, just based on my experience with language and with communication, from being a speech pathologist, has a lot to do with being truly bilingual, is your ability to think in the language. I took Spanish in high school, and I also took German in college. And I can tell you quite a few German words and quite a few Spanish words, but I never had the facility to think. I had to, think it in English and translate it to Spanish, which of course makes you a lot slower. And I don't know, maybe after a while I would have got faster if I had stayed up with the Spanish or the German. But I couldn't think in those languages. And so I think that's, once you can think in two languages, that it would be easier to pick up a third and think in that language, and on and so forth. So I don't know, maybe that didn't make a bit of sense. Am I single or taken? I am single, so if anybody wants to come look for me, they can. What is my idea of a dream date? Just a guy that listens and cares and has values that are similar to mine, um, being treated respectfully wherever he takes me or wherever I take him. I just want to be treated respectfully by the gentleman. Um, how long was my longest relationship? Probably about 6 months. I don't know. I have I've had a lot of relationships, but none that I ever felt. I dated one guy and he wanted to marry me, but I really didn't like him that much, but I was afraid of hurting his feelings, so I was glad when he went out of my life. Uh, that's a long story in and of itself. How would I describe my fashion sense? Comfortable, you know, t-shirts, nice sweaters. I hardly ever wear a dress. I really don't like to wear dresses. I'm not comfortable, so I wear them if I have to. Um, my go-to hairstyle, this is it. It's short, it's easy, it blow dries in a flash. We're good to go. How many siblings do I have? I had 3 sisters and 3 brothers. I had 2 sisters are deceased and 1 brother is deceased. So living, I have 1 sister and 2 brothers that are still living. Big family. What is my go-to fast food order? I don't do fast food very often. If I had anything, and I really call this more my cheap food than fast food, would be Pizza Hut personal pan pizza, and I love those. I know they're not good for me, and I know they're higher in carbs, but I get one now and again. Hasn't killed me yet. Could. Do I use a PC or a Mac? I use a PC. Um, my my daughter and her family have gone crazy. They're Mac users. They use iPhones. Really? I'm like, really? You want to use an iPhone? Ew. I keep telling them they've gone over to the dark side. Um, Most memorable family vacation. I think one of the most memorable vacations that I've taken was the one where I took my daughter to Disney World. The one in Florida, I can never remember which one's World and which one's Land. I think it's World in Florida. But I took her to Disney World. We just had a great time. And I think the other memorable, we had another one where we went to SeaWorld and San Antonio and just had a great time. So I guess those two are my most memorable vacations. And probably a third one would be when my family moved from Phillips, Wisconsin, and we moved to Virginia. My parents decided to make a vacation out of it, and so we traveled through the southern portion of Quebec and down the east coast of the United States in a camper and had a great time, and that was pretty memorable too. Uh, what are my morning and evening routines? I wake up and I go to bed. I don't know. I just wake up. I have to have my coffee. I kind of lounge around until I feel like getting ready. And I usually eat breakfast about an hour and a half after I wake up. I'm not very hungry when I first wake up. Evening, I usually, eat supper, have a snack or two, go to bed. I like to watch a little bit of TV before I go to sleep. So I'll watch TV for about an hour before I go to bed. Um, I don't watch much TV to tell you the truth. I have like hours and hours of TV recorded on DirecTV, and I have watched hardly none of it. So I don't know. I just don't watch much TV. Um, do I have any bad habits? Eating, definitely. I'm a bad grazer. Um, a bad snack, or um, I don't smoke. I did at one time. I gave that up when I was 39. Um, I probably have lots of bad habits. I just can't think of any other than food related. And I guess that's because this is a food related video. I don't know. Um, One thing you might not know about me, I spent 6 years in the Army. So, and my daughter was born while I was in the Army. There's probably a whole bunch of things you don't know about me. That would be kind of a free for all. Um, but at any rate, that's the 30 questions. Um, I don't know who all's been tagged in this. I know I've watched several, so I won't tag them, but I do know, I don't think I've seen Kitty Shrinks do a video, so I will name her in this tag. I don't even know if she watches my channels. Anybody can do this tag. I would put the questions below, but I'm doing this on my phone and I don't know how to do that from my computer to my phone. So there you have it. But at any rate, you guys have a blessed day, and just I hope that Christmas is blessing you and that your journey in weight loss is blessing you. Um, I know who I can tag. Rolling to RNY. I'm tagging you. So if you watch me, you get to answer these questions. And let's do it, VSG. I should have thought about this before I started doing this weight loss tag. At any rate, I love all of you. Bye.